welcome again to my weekly Twitch stream. It's me, it's your favourite community manager, it's Eliot, and Zebulon, here again with my continuing ongoing series, Learn to Build. And I like to always bring up at the beginning of every stream for any of our new viewers, I'm just a community manager here, I am not a professional 3D modeler, I'm not a professional level designer. And 6 months ago when I started here, I never tried anything like this. Just spending an hour a week doing the stream, which has honestly just become like the highlight of my week. It's one of my favorite things, just coming in here and building. And yeah, it's amazing just putting in a little bit of time each week and how far I've come. That I can now actually do a teach stream instead of I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just going to mess around, play some blocks. Now I'm going to show you stuff. I can teach you things. And the subject of today's lesson, what we're going to be focusing on, is how to teach you rewind. Teaching you how to turn any object in Sansar into one you can pick up or throw with your avatar, and that's called a dynamic object. So I'm back here at Paula's hut, created by Paula70, and you may remember I showed this off last week on my stream because I really love this beautiful kind of sleek Swedish supervillain Miami Beach kind of home. All this nice concrete and brushed steels and huge bay windows, and pretty much all of this is created with the base rooftop template that's available in Sansar and free or very cheap items on the Sansar store. So this really inspired me to build my own apartment in the same style, and for me it's going to become another touch point for how to show you how to create stuff in Sansar. So let's recap some of last week. What we're talking about last week is these walls. Okay, it took me a while to figure out how Paula created these walls. So if I hit F4, I detach the camera from my avatar's body. There he is. And you see I can fly through walls. So using the plus and minus key, I can speed up and slow down my camera. And what I want to show you is that if I go into the wall here, there's grass, right? So right here, you can see there's grass on that side, grass on that side. And if I pull all the way up, you can then see it's hidden by the roof, which is also lots and lots of different pieces. So where did that grass come from? Well, it's these pieces, right? It's these little pieces we saw out here at the front. Just taking 2 of them and sandwiching them together to hide the grass and create concrete walls. So I'm going to hit F3 to go back to my avatar. And yeah, it's just 2 of those folded up and stuck together, which is unnecessary. What was the lesson of last week? Because that's an impressive commitment from Paula, but I was showing you how to change the material settings. So expanding on that, we're going to look at some other things in here that are obvious in their intent, but maybe that little bit more learning, and you can take an experience like this and take it a step further. So for instance, we've got this football here, and if I hit F3 to go into third person and wheel back a bit, it's a little bit awkward. Load in first person. You see, I can't click on it, I can't pick it up, it doesn't move when I run into it. It's static. It's what is called a static object. And the same is true if I run out here of our wonderfully drunk robot face down here, all these beer bottles. I feel like I should be able to walk into these beer bottles, kick them around, or pick them up and put them back in the box. No, they're static objects, which is fine. That is fine, because if we have made everything so that you could pick it up and throw it around, that would slow things down quite a bit. But obviously some of these things we do want to pick up. Another part of today's lesson is going to be this shower we're looking at here. So we've got these nice brushed steel rods kind of creating the shape of a shower, but the glass here, if I go in third person with F3, I can just walk through this. This is not a solid object. It has no physical volume, as I understand. It's the technical term, or at least the terms we use. I don't know if that's an industry term. But obviously, we don't want to be able to walk through glass. We want it to be solid. So that's what we're going to cover today. How can we take the football and make it something we can kick around? How can we take the beer bottles and make them something we can pick up? And how can we make glass or an object we're walking through into something that's solid, like this wall, that stops me from walking through them. So we are going to go to my experiences. We're going to click create, and we're going to call this throw anything. That's the title of today's stream. And for our starting content, we've got a bunch of templates here again. We've got Highlands for, floating island. We've got the watch party for bringing in Twitch streams or YouTube videos and having a watch party around that. And then we had the base template. That's just a plain grid. We're going to go to the rooftop template again because that's what this one was made in. And I think that's going to make sense. So then it's created, it's here, and we click edit scene. Now we're going to connect to it. There was a point release earlier this week that made a change to how edit mode works in Sansar. So before, it was client side. It was on your end of things, and then it would upload the finished thing to Sansar. Now, you're actually editing on the server side of things, on our side of things. So it might take a little bit longer to load in, but this is going to lay the groundwork for lots of really cool things that you can expect in our release that teasing out first week of September. I'm not going to give you more than that because just sometimes, someone's sick and they push it back a couple of days. But first week of September is the current target, I can tell you that much. Cool, so here is the rooftop template. Hey, that's the sound of someone following us. Thanks for the follow, man. I've been experimenting with Streamlabs and notifications. You may have noticed this. We have a poll at the bottom of our Twitch page. Here, actually, I might just show this. I'm going to go across here. Oh, wait. Wrong window. Don't scroll down, OBS. Look, we got a countdown for streams. If this one had begun, we got a poll, and we also have notifications when someone follows or hosts or even raids us. So if you have ideas or more extensions or integrations, you'd like to see done with the Twitch stream, let me know. I've been toying with some ideas. You can do things like there was one example was a death counter, so people in chat could type death every time you die, and you get a counter of how many times you die in a game, which makes sense if you're playing Dark Souls. For this, I was thinking maybe just fails, just how many times I mess up. Or just love, maybe something more positive. Send me love whenever I do something right. Eliot was right counter, maybe. Cool. So this is the same thing we saw in Paula's experience. Same object, this grass kind of park block. And you can see when I select on it, we get this gizmo. Sorry, again, not talking about controls. Left, right, forward, back. Using the WASD keys, because I'm a gamer, and that makes sense to me, but you can also use the arrow keys. And again, with camera controls, plus and minus to speed up and slow down. And then left-clicking to select something, and when I select something, I get this gizmo that lets me move it up and down, side to side, forward and back, all the XYZ axes, and spin it, flip it, and you can see it changing in real time over here in the properties window for it. So I can select that, hit 0, make it flat again. And notably, we have these cubes. You'll see that's changing the scale. And as I drag that down, it gets smaller. So this was about the size it was in Paula's experience, where she had just one tree on each one. And I can select this, do Control D, duplicate it, and I can, if I rotate it 90 degrees, nope. 90 degrees? Yes, that's what I wanted. And duplicate it again. I can also flip around with these. And then, again, I'm looking at the properties window here, and when it's, I can see what number it's supposed to be. I round it up. So Paula made her walls by sandwiching them together like this, which is admirable, but unnecessary. So recapping from last time, we select an object. I'm going to bring it over here so you can see it. Go to the Scene Objects menu. Here on the left side, this is everything that's in this experience. Right-click it, go down to Materials, and then you see with the grass here, that's the grass terrain. Well, if I just say, instead of grass, it's concrete. Because concrete is a texture on this object, so it knows about concrete as a texture. So I'm just going to place all these with concrete, Now, you might say, hey Elliot, you're going too fast for me. I don't know what I'm doing. Just anywhere that says grass, I'm replacing it with the word concrete. And then I'm hitting save. And now it's concrete. So now we don't have the grass and we don't have to hide it. And we could also figure out which texture is the squares around the edge here. Replace that with the concrete texture as well. Or replace this grass texture with the same tiled texture. So we don't have to sandwich them together. Cool. That was quite a recap. That's nothing we're talking about today. Let's delete this tree. Let's go to spawn point actually, because we probably want to be near there. That's a kind of odd place to have the spawn point. We'll bring this over. So this is this little green foot thing. This is where we are going to spawn our avatar when we enter the world. You can see here in this window, it's called spawn objects. Here I'm going to close this. Let's do a recap of UI. Scene objects, everything that's in the experience. Inventory, everything that's in my inventory that I own, that I've imported, such as objects I want to throw around. And then up here we have saving it, building the experience, and publishing it to the Atlas, and some other things we'll get to over the course of the stream. But every experience will have a spawn point by default, and you can find it in scene objects under as the object called spawn point. And if I look at the categories of objects, I don't know what one spawn point falls under, so it's okay. And we can add more of these, so don't worry if you accidentally delete it. Cool. So 100 bottles of beer on the wall. First of all, we need a drunk robot. So I already have that robot. He's called. Wait, is he called? No, he's not called Minion Robot. He's called like Mech or something. I think it's just called Robo. Yes, we have Giant Robo Minion Robot. So I'm going to click and drag this object from my inventory. And there you see there's the Giant Robo. And if I click and drag Minion Robot, you can see he's a smaller one. And I could scale him up so he's the same size if I wanted to. But we'll just stick with the example we have from Paula. So we have our robot. Now if you wanted to have this robot yourself, all you have to do, as I switch over here, all you have to do is go to store.sansar.com, search robot. You might find a few things, but if you scroll down, is it not cool? Robot? Robo? Mech? Bot. Oh no, we're getting balls. Okay, new plan. We're going to search by the creator of it. We're going to search for Sansar Studios, which is our in-house content creation team. They made these robots. So we're getting some things that aren't made by them. Here we go. Sansar Studios store. That's what we want. Click that. There we go. I don't know why. I guess because it's one word. I didn't find it. But here we have the Minion Robot. And if I select it, you'll see it's free. I'll just be prompted to log in to buy, and then I click purchase or get, and it will immediately appear in your inventory in Sansar, like instantaneously. It's pretty great. And everything the Sansar Studios team uploads is free. So all these robots, forever free. Cool. So I'm going to open up the properties window here on our giant robot, because we're seeing this before. And it has things like position, rotation, and scale. So I can do that with the gizmo, but I want nice round numbers. I'm going to use the properties window. So I'm going to click and drag this right wheel and lay him flat on his face. And you can see the X has changed to 87.675. Well, we'll just round that up to 90, and now he's flat. Cool. We have successfully put a drunk face-down robot. But we haven't done the environmental storytelling, using game dev terms there. Yeah. Environmental storytelling to imply that this robot has had too much oil to drink. So I'm going to search my inventory now for bottle. And I only have one, so I'm just going to click and drag this into the scene. And you can see we have a bottle here. And I might make this a little bit bigger, so I can drag this something a bit more sizable. That actually looks kind of gross. Put that back down to where it was before. And again, the properties window is still open, so I can just put this back down to 1, and that's the default size. So 10 is 10 times larger, 0.1 is 1/10 of the size. That's the extent of the slide wheel. But we'll just stick to 1, the size it's supposed to be. Cool. Now, what Paula did was rotate this object, put it flat on the floor, do Control D to duplicate it, and kind of scatter them about. But these are all objects that are static. They're not objects we can pick up. And we know that because here we have the properties window. And to show you again, I'm going to close this window. When we have an object selected, we have a few options here, like locking it, delete, duplicate, and properties. I'm going to open up properties, and I'll give me some more options. So here we have the position, rotation, and scale. Those are all the options on the gizmo here. But then we have the container and the volume. And these give us different settings. So you can see motion type is static, so it's not going to move. It's a solid wall, which is probably how we want the robot. So let's select the robot and check, yes, the robot is static. But the bottles, we want to be able to pick up and kick around. So we're going to go to motion type, and we're going to select dynamic. So we have 3 options here: static, dynamic, and keyframe. Static is solid, never, never, never going to move. Dynamic is, sorry, mild ADD, just gotta check. No one's trying to tell me that the stream isn't working. Okay, let's do that again. Select an object, go to properties, static, it's solid, never gonna move. Dynamic makes it something that will move. And it'll make it something we can pick up. So we see we have a switch here, can grab on, off. Okay, so if it's off, what does it do? If can grab is off, then running into the object will kick it around. So a good example of that would be the football we saw in Paula's apartment, right? We didn't want, maybe we don't want to pick up the football, that would break the rules, right? Picking up the ball unless you're the goalie. We just want something that we can move, then we want it to be dynamic. And this is also really nice if you want to have a couple, layer a couple of things, like, you want some, books on a shelf, but you don't want them to be static and kind of float there, not really look real. Just, you can make them more dynamic and then can grab off, and then they'll fall and kind of look natural, basically. They'll have a gravity to them, a gravity applied to them, and they'll look natural on a bookshelf. So we want these bottles with can grab on. And I'm going to shift left click to select all of them. And, actually, can grab is an option that is not available on the multiple select. Oh yeah, because I didn't make all dynamic, right. Select these 3, they're all static. Make them dynamic, can grab on. And that's the same for this one. Great. Let's see we have some other options as well. We have density, friction, and bounce. So bounce is obviously how springy it is. Friction can be like how much velocity it's going to maintain after it's come into contact with something. And then density is sort of how heavy that object is. So this is what we'll do. This one here we'll leave at the default settings. The next one we'll make max dense. This one we'll make max bounce. And this one we'll make half bounce and max friction with minimum density. And we'll see how that works out. Cool. Let's build this scene. And we'll be prompted to save. And it's going to start building and rendering it all out. Thanks for Twitch chat for letting me know everything is working. And I hope everyone in Sansar's having a very nice time as well. While we're waiting for it to build here, I'll let you know that next week, hopefully we'll be getting back to simple scripts and doing some more complex stuff with scripting. But we'll see how, maybe even get to that today, depending on how we get on with objects that we can grab and throw up. Throw up? I'm not feeling too well. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. California is a state that is usually on fire for various wildfires. There's a website called Is California on Fire? And it just says yes or no. it is currently on fire, which means there's a lot of smog blowing in and kind of landing in San Francisco. So we're nice and safely far away from the fires, but the air quality has been really bad. And it's reminding me of my time in China, and I feel like after a year in China, I have less resistance to pollution. You would think it'd make me hardier, but I feel like my body's just taken too much at this point. Cool. So let's review our robot face down in his bottles of beer. If I run into the robot, he doesn't move. He is static. If I mouse over the bottles, I should see a blue outline, but some objects it just doesn't work. I think I now remember these beer bottles. For some reason, it's not showing up. Cool, so this one here is our number one. So if I left click on it, you can see it pick it up. I hit F3 to go into first person. You can see, third person even. You can see I've picked it up, and whoops, I'm going to throw it. Donk. So if you left click and hold while in desktop mode, you'll throw further. In VR, you just have to put like more swing behind it. So let's do that again. Left click and hold, and you can see that's kind of through like a normal bottle. That was kind of the default settings. This one was max density. Yes, so you can see how that was heavier and didn't throw as far, even though I'm left clicking and hold. Oh, actually, that one threw pretty far. Okay, I can't remember which one that was. Let's look at what this one does. Looks pretty bodily. That's the max bounce one. That's the one with maximum bounce. Doing. So that kind of bounces comically. It looks like it's made of rubber. A beer bottle should not bounce that much. Interestingly, messing with the friction and density on the other ones didn't seem to have too much of an impact. I think some of that you could maybe pass down to the beer bottle shape maybe. That one definitely rolls more. Cool. So we've made objects that we can pick up and throw simply by selecting it and turning it into something that's dynamic. So let me show you an example of something that wasn't dynamic that I made dynamic. So we're going to go to My Experiences, and we're going to go visit Dota World, which is, of course, my brilliant segue for bringing up the fact that Dota 2 International is on. Finals are tomorrow. It's probably going to be Team LGD. Probably. They're looking really strong. Liquid will probably get another shot at them. Could even be EG. I'm so sad Virtus Pro is out, though. And, of course, our friends at Optic Gaming. Hard luck there, where up against a favorite to win, and then if even if they won that game, they would have just been up against another favorite to win the whole tournament. So a rough road for Optic, but well played for a very young team. I think they'd only been like top 8 after a team that's only been formed like a year ago. It's great. Anyway, I'm talking Dota. You guys don't care. And so watching the Dota International here. This is Liquid and Secret. It looks like Liquid are winning, so that's good. So what I want to show here is we've got this great big stream. We have a screen pulling in a Twitch stream. This is live from the Dota 2 International channel. And we've got some sofas here, and of course we've got some beers we can pick up. Have a beer of our game. We've got some snacks as well, little cakes. See, this one is having the blue outline when I mouse it over. For some reason, these two objects are not. And I think that just sometimes is the object. And so now I've got some popcorn. I can throw that as well. Wow, that is a ridiculous amount of friction. We need to like up the density and turn down the friction and bounce on that. That throws way too far. Let's have a look at the cakes. I think the cakes are like really heavy as well. See, I feel like they should roll more. But anyway, these are dynamic objects that we can pick up and throw. The table and the sofas are not. They're static objects. Same with the rock floor we're standing on. And over here is a little screen. So this makes a bit more sense in VR. You can pick it up with your hand and you can move it anywhere and you can position it. And you can see it's the exact same stream as we're getting up here. So in exact real time, we have this little screen showing the same thing. On the big screen, you can kind of pick it up and hold it like a tablet. But I had to make this into something I could pick up. So, and again, I should probably turn down how bouncy it is. I might have lowered the gravity in this space. I think that's why that's happening. So let's go back to my experiences. We'll go back to throw anything. We'll go to edit scene, and I'll show you how to make a TV screen that you can pick up and hold. And again, once again, if you need anything, you can just go to store.sansar.com. We can go TV. You see we've got a wall-mounted TV. That was the TV I was using. It's worth 100 Sansar dollars, which is about $1 US. We also have a bunch of different old school televisions. Ooh, this one's nice as well. This one's pretty good. Plaggy's been making some good stuff on the store. Oops, sorry, poking the mic. So yeah, I am not a 3D modeler. Everything you see in any of my scenes, I bought. Oh, except for the congratulations text in the equals MC squared text in my maze. It's Leap of Faith, because those I made myself in Blender. I might do a Blender tutorial on how to make text, if I can remember how I did that. So coming back here, we're going to close the properties window. We don't need that right now. And we are going to select my inventory, and we're going to search TV and hit enter. And we're going to take the wall mount TV. That was the one you saw before. It's kind of got a nice kind of tablety look. Actually, no, I think it's not that one I want. It's the regular TV one. Yeah, it's this one. TV wall mount has like a kind of texture over it. Here, I'll show you. Turn this to face us. Drag TV wall mount. So, see how the 3 is just a default for what media stream it would show. Thanks for the follow, Madison. Yeah, so the 3 is just like the default for like a blank screen until we put in a media stream. And you can see how this one seems to be a bit cropped and a bit yellow. I don't know what's going on with that wall mount. There's some kind of odd texture on it, kind of sepia tone. So I don't like TV wall mount. I'm going to use this TV. And this is kind of large, so I'm going to make it a bit smaller, just kind of eyeballing this. Probably a good idea to move it over near the beer bottles, as that's a well-sized object for your avatar's hand, and we can kind of see how that compares. So that's maybe a little small. We can make it a little bit bigger. Great. And now we go into properties, and oh, it's not something we can change from static or dynamic. So what does that look like? Let's see if I can quickly build this out. So this, because in the properties we don't see the option to change it from static to dynamic, then it therefore has no volume, which therefore means it has no solid collision for our avatar. So that means our avatar will just walk straight through it, which is what I want to show you. And maybe I should have done this in the base template that has less things to load and build. That would have been a smart idea. It's okay. I started my stream on time this week. So we have time. Of course, I do the stream every week at 11 AM, just showing people how to build stuff. I really want to encourage you that you can make any, you really don't need to be like a 3D modeling Blender guru. I really started this knowing absolutely nothing. I just clicked create and started dragging and dropping things, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Having a lot of fun just buying stuff on the store and putting in my experiences. By the way, the Dota World place we went to, I made. That was all me. Cool, so here we have our static object of the robot, our dynamic object of the beer bottles, and then this TV screen, which if I go into third person by hitting F3, you can see I can walk through. So this is like the glass we saw in the shower in Paula's apartment. We can just walk through this. It has no physical mesh, it has no volume, so it can't be picked up. It can't be turned into a dynamic object because it's not even something that will stop our avatar walking into it. Whereas if we walk into the robot, we get stopped, and if we walk into the beer bottles, we will kind of spin around because we can kick them out. So let's go back into edit mode, and let's make it something we can touch. Because you can actually do that in Sansar, which really opened my eyes to creative possibilities. So I'm going to select it. I already had the properties window over here. So I'm going to leave that there. And you see when I select an object, it immediately highlights and takes me to it in the scene objects. So I'm going to right click it in scene objects. I'm going to go add volume. And see, now we have those settings. It's currently set to static. I can now set it to dynamic. And I have the same settings as I had with the beer bottles. And then here is the volume type. So this is the volume we've applied to it. And we probably want to check that it's not crazy. So I'm going to go up to this eye here for visibility, and I'm going to look at physics and shapes. And this is going to make everything look a little weird, so hold on. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. It's just kind of flickering because it's not 100% one way or the other. But you can see this is the gray is anything you can stand on, right? So you can see the tree is a solid object in that kind of shape. This platform is a solid object. And this one's just a little uneven with the texture. And we can see also our robot has a strong robot shape. So this is the volume we've applied to our TV. And this is actually, I'm gonna delete this because it's hurting my eyes. And I think I accidentally duplicated something. There we go. Okay, so this is our TV. And you can see we have this yellow box around it now. That's the volume we've applied to it. So I'm going to turn this off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. It looks about the right shape and size for our TV. Sometimes you can add it and it just gets totally wrong. I'll show you. I'm going to go to my inventory. I'm going to go ship, because I tried to do this with the ship the other day. I'm going to take the scallion, I'm going to drag it out here. So we're still in visibility, looking at physics shapes. I don't actually need to have that menu open. So you can see the gray is anything I can stand on, my avatar will interact with. The ship isn't something we can stand on, and we can double confirm that by seeing it has no static dynamic settings, so avatar will just walk through this. That's unfortunate. So I'm going to right click it, go add volume, and you can see it's now given it a box. But it's kind of the wrong shape and size. You can see it's just made an automatic box, including the entire mast. It's not contouring to the shape of the deck. So we can try looking at these volume type settings. I haven't actually tried this. Let's have a look. Let's see what happens. The volume type is a box. So box worked really well for the TV screen. It is a box, so great. Ship, we don't want a box. It's not the shape of a box. So our only other option is sphere. That doesn't help. So you can see this doesn't always work 100% of the time. So I'm just going to delete that ship. If I select this again, is there... I thought on one of them... Yeah, here we go. Giant Robo has another volume type, which is mesh. And I guess something about the way they're imported may have had why he has the mesh option, but evidently that's not an automatic option. Automatic options are squares, boxes, and spheres. So if it's a rectangle, cube, or something vaguely spherical, it will work. But for more complex things, you can't just automatically give a physical shape. So we're going to go back up to visibility here. Going to turn off physics shapes, close the visibility window. We're just looking at this TV above this floor. Here, come over here, floor. I need a floor. Oh. I like zooming out when I move stuff long distances because it's less of a mouse click. There we go. I'll do that. Bring the spawn point over to solid ground. Hooray! Cool. Yeah. So this TV screen, now that we've given it volume by selecting it, so we selected it, shows up in scene objects, right click, add volume. That gave it a box volume, and so it's now an object we can make static or dynamic or keyframed. The third option for keyframed is if you want to make something animated. And we might get to that before the end of the stream as well. So now that it is dynamic, we can turn can grab on. And how about we give it a media stream, and then we will show it in action. So I'm going to close it, that window. I'm going to go tools, I'm going to go scene settings, because this is where we set up media streams. And I'm going to scroll down to media surfaces. And then we want http://player.twitch.tv/Sansar official and full screen equals 1 and HTML5? Question mark? It's something like that. So the other option is to go to the web, search Sansar media surface. You could also search on help.sansar.com, and there's a web page called Using and Previewing Media Streams that I'm going to show you, and that will tell you the URLs. So this is for doing YouTube, and then if I scroll all the way down to, where's Twitch? Twitch. Okay, got it a little bit wrong. It is != channel, Sansar official, channel ID, and HTML5, and volume = 1. We don't need the full screen. So I'm going to come back into Sansar. I'm going to do != channel. So that means we're making a request. What is the channel? Channel = Sansar official. And then we don't need full screen = 1, but we do need HTML5. That's the type of video we're playing. It's the good one. And then we also want volume = 1. Cool. So I can close scene settings now. And you can see it started playing my stream. So that's because under options we've got audio, video, preview. I can toggle that on and off to check things out. And it's going to play a Twitch ad. So we've got that there. Now let's hit build. And then we'll go pick up our TV. So this was wonderfully eye-opening to me, was that I could take anything and turn it into an object that would fall naturally, or you could kick about, or I could pick up. Or, you know, because it was frustrating to buy something on the store and it was just static and I could walk through it and I was like, this is obviously not what I wanted. But now that I know how to add volumes, it was great. Wonderful opportunities abound. And I left it a little bit up there so you'll see as gravity is applied to it, will fall naturally as an object. Uploading. Should have used the base template. If you want to do a quick building and rebuilding to demonstrate something or test something, recommend the base template because there's very little to load. But so you may be catching on to the fact that if we have the option, so you can see it's already fallen down and hit the ground there. And it doesn't kind of, because the box is slightly larger than the TV, it's kind of floating a little bit. But I can now pick it up. I'll hit F3 to go into first person, and look, that's me. Hi. And there's a little bit of a Twitch delay. But you see, look, I'm going to wave at myself. There we go. Hi, me. And so now I've got Twitch on a little TV screen that I can pick up. So, what about the fact that it kind of is larger? The physical box that we've applied to it is a little bit larger than the screen, and so it doesn't actually land flat. Can we change that? The answer is yes. So we can tweak the physical volume we've added to this object that didn't have one. So I'm going to go up to options, I'm going to turn off the audio media preview so it doesn't get confusing. I'm going to select it, it takes me to it in scene objects, and instead of right-clicking, I'm going to click the little arrow and you'll see the things it's made of, such as the volume. So now I've selected the volume. I can't see it because I can't see physics shapes, so I'm going to visibility, physics shapes, and now I can see it. So if with this gizmo, having selected volume under TV, I can actually move the block. So we can actually have it completely separate to where the TV is, which is not what we want to do. I'm just going to Control Z to undo that so it's still nicely centered. But if we go into properties, we can check out the extents. So this is how big the box is. So what if we got rid of this 107 here? A little bit too much. It's now sticking out of the end of the object. Sorry, the object is now sticking out of the physics volume. But this is, oops, move my camera too much, pressing minus key to slow down. But we can now see kind of like how fat it is compared to it. So I'm going to assume that's Y. I'm going to reduce that to 1.5. Oops. Yeah. 1.5. 1. Okay, maybe 0.2 is actually the minimum I can do. 1. 0? Okay. It's refusing to do that. That's interesting. What about the Z here? Can we take this 9 off the end? How much does that? There we go. Let's chipping it down on the end here. We've got a little bit of it poking out. So do 0.5, sorry, 0.651, 0.655, and a little bit, 0.657, 8, maybe 9 was the right call. Okay, it's just very much on the lip, so 9 was correct. So this is pretty smart. And then we can extend this back out. 1, 1.2, too much. 1.11. 1.01. Wow. We're getting into very small numbers here. I'm just increasing it infinitesimally small. So we're at 1.016, 1.017, 1.108. So that's like the right on the line. And for some reason we can't change the Y. I know if it was the way it was encoded, maybe it's the minimum, so that's unfortunately a limitation. But it works. It works. We've made an object that we can pick up and grab. So we'll close that window, turn off physics shapes. What else could we do with this object and these menu options here? Well, something we can do is we can right click, add, and we can add audio. So you can hear the sound of it being created, but I can't see it. Whoops, select the object again. That's because, again, visibility, you need to show audio volumes. So this is a audio emitter. If I also wanted to, I can clear my inventory here, hit enter, go from purchase to system. I can create the same things by just dragging and dropping them from the system inventory. So, you know, we could put a audio emitter out the back of our robot here, turn it up. You see it's going to emit from this cone. I'm going to go to properties and we're going to set it so my options are inventory, something I've downloaded and imported to Sansar, or I can set it to the stream and it'll play my Twitch stream. And so I can do the same thing with this TV that I've made. So I'm going to close properties. We select it. We've got this. So now by selecting it under the little arrow menu, I can now rotate just the audio emitter. And if I open up the properties, I'm just going to open it for here. So I can set its loudness. So I can increase it to 80. And I can set it from inventory to stream. And it's going to, maybe I don't want it to be point. Maybe I want it to be like a cuboid around the TV, or maybe I want it to be a sphere around the TV. And obviously this is kind of making it difficult to see. This is why going to visibility, toggling off audio volumes on and off is going to make it easy to see sometimes. But I think we will have it as a point. Cool. So now we're going to hit build. And so this time, not only is the TV going to be something we can pick up, and not only have we tweaked the volume to be a little bit closer to the edge of it as best we can, sound is also now going to come out of the TV and it's going to be playing the Twitch stream. I'm just trying to grab my microphone that I'm not using to talk, even though I'm looking at myself talking into this microphone. And then for reference, I can also show you that the sound will be coming out of the back of the robot. Be fun to have maybe a drunken sea shanty coming out of the robot. Maybe we could put it into Adobe Audition or Audacity and auto-tune it so it sounds like a robot singing a sea shanty. This is a new project. Clearly need to make a whole pirate experience with drunk robots singing sea shanties. Robo-pirates. It's the future. It's the future of piracy. Cool. So we are here in my Throw Anything experience. And now you can hear the advert playing, and it gets louder as I get to the TV. And if I pick it up, you'll see it's even louder. And if I throw it away, things will get quieter as it's moved away from me. And I must have messed up, not paying attention properly. We don't seem to be getting audio out the back of my robot. You can hear myself talking. I just said that. Cool, we're gonna throw this away. And yeah, no sound coming out the back of the robot. I must have messed up something there. Let's go back to edit mode. What did I mess up? It was probably set to inventory instead of set to stream. I thought I showed you that. Guess not. Gonna go visibility, audio volumes, select, close visibility, open up properties. It is set to stream. It's set to the media stream that we have set to play. Maybe it was just too quiet. Maybe the cone is too high up for our avatar to hear. Let's try making it a sphere instead. We can drag that over a little bit. We can take the sphere. Oops, don't want it that big. Yeah, so it's a little bit larger than the robot, and that would probably work. Cool. Terrific. So we've shown you how to make a volume and add anything to it to allow it to be something we can walk on, or throw, or grab, or anything like that. So that's pretty handy. Pretty handy. What I think I'll show you now is going deeper into this adding capacity. So we're going to go to my experiences. We're going to go to my treehouse, and we're going to go edit it. And yes, I'll discard changes there without saving it. What I might do is, right in the last few minutes, I'll make a throw anything demo. I'll put the Twitch VOD of this playing, and it'll just be a room, sort of things you can throw about. Maybe I should have made that the target of the stream. Hey Elliot, that was a good idea. Why are you having this idea 50 minutes into your stream? Cool. But I did want to show you something kind of neat over here with my airship. Well, it's not my airship. Cerberus made it and I bought it off the store. But this is an animated airship. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to open the properties window. And there's some scripts on here. That's all I'm looking for. What am I looking for? I don't want to show this. I want to go here. So it's got an animation, it's got a script, it's got a volume, so it's something to stand on. But I'm going to right click it, go to add, and I'm going to add a light, because it gets kind of dark on the spaceship. So we now have a light, and we can't see it because of visibility, or yes we can. I guess it's just a little bit far down. There we go, it's right in the center. So this light is now tied to the object. So these lights over here that we can see, they're just sitting there in space. They won't ever move. This should, I hope, move with the airship. So I'm going to drag it over here to these lanterns that are on the back of it. So it actually has a little bit of light. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this into the center of the light. I'm going to open up properties and we can see our options here. I'm going to go color. I'm going to make it a little bit yellowier. Maybe make it a little bit orangier. There we go. A little bit orangier than that. Something like that. And we'll make the intensity maybe a little bit stronger at like, maybe not 50, maybe like 20. There we go. We'll make the range 20 as well. Cool. And then I'm going to do Control D to duplicate it. No, can't do it that way. Okay. So we will, what am I doing? Airship. Add light. Maybe there was a way I could copy it. Oops, oh, moving the airship. That's not what I wanted. Moving light too. You can see it's very dark on the side of the airship, but this should now be a light that will move with our airship, thanks to the power of right-clicking something in seen objects and do an add. So I'll make this 20, make the range 20 as well. And we'll make the color, I could look and make sure it's the exact same, but I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Cool. So let's hit build. This may take a little bit of time. But now, by using the power of right-click add, we have lights on our airship, and they should I hope, move with the airship. I've been meaning to do this for a while on this airship, so I kind of wanted to get it done in this stream. Because it's really dark when you're standing on the airship and it's like flying through space. There's not a lot of other lights in space. So this might actually take a little bit longer than I meant to. Don't mind me. Do let me know, Twitch chat, if you have any questions about building your own worlds in Sansar, building your first world in Sansar. I do want this to be accessible. But I appreciate some of you may be coming in new, even though 4 episodes in, so we're getting into slightly more intermediate to advanced things. I'm happy to do a recap of the basic stuff, or go a little bit slower. Try to do a recap of the past few streams every time I start, but been shortening the time of my recap each time because there's more and more to cover. And I don't want it to be too much. But trust me, by simply buying stuff in the store, a lot of this becomes very accessible for someone like myself who has no other skill to be able to contribute to creating worlds. So that's the wonderful thing about the marketplace. And I'm now looking a little bit worried. It looks like this isn't lined up with the steps correctly down here. Might not actually be able to get on the airship. When I accidentally moved it, I may have not been moving it back correctly. So we're going to come in here. And we're going to see our airship take off. And we can try... actually, we'll teleport over here. We got a plan. This button resets it. This is my little control panel. Look, it makes things happen. So we reset the airship, so it's going to stay there and wait. It's going to wait for the play animation command on that console, which I should really move over the where the ship is. I'm going to use this guy to teleport over. Ah. Cool, so now if I get on my airship, you can see there is light. Yes? Probably? I think so. So we'll run back down the steps. And I'll cover next time these teleport scripts that let you warp around. And I'm going to use the mouse wheel, just teleport over there, just releasing the teleport. And I'm going to hit this one. That should start playing the airship, because it's on an animation. There we go. Takes a little bit while to start, I was really worried. So as it flies past, we can kind of clearly see the golden lights on it. Behind the sails. It'll be easy to see as it passes overhead here. There we go. There we go, lights. It has light. And they're moving with the airship. Terrific. Have I got experience audio turned down or off? I should be able to hear music. There we go. Should be able to hear music coming out of that. Cool. So let me show you some more things done with dynamic objects. This is a dynamic object, these Jenga blocks that we can pick up and throw. Again, this picking up and throwing things is much better in VR, but I don't feel up to trying to balance the VR stream with also doing the building, because the building's easier with a keyboard. And here we have a beach ball, which naturally we have very high bounce on, and a very low density, so it's going to bounce around a bit. And, excuse me, beach ball, go over there. If I hit this button, opens our fridge here, and you see we've got more dynamic objects in the form of these drinks. And this alien soda pop. Just drink a little alien, that's fine. You know, that was a static object, but hey, we can take it dynamic, pick it up, make it smaller. Now it's something we can pretend as a soda can. So I'm gonna go back to the hub area to show you this area down here, which is what in my head I call the curio room. And I made everything in here into something you can pick up and throw around, except for the animation of the skeleton. You can't pick him up, you can walk through him. But we can pick up this little ship and throw it. We have a miniature version of my house, we can pick up and throw that. Anything can be given a volume and turned into a dynamic object so that we can throw it around. Ain't that fun? including this larger version of the alien in the can, although he is not too happy about it. There we go. So I think having this many things you can throw around slows things down a little bit in here. So I think I might cut those out and put them in a throw anything room. So let's wrap up the stream by doing that. I'm going to my experiences and we're going to delete throw anything. I'm going to go create. And we're going to call this the true throw anything. And we're going to do that in the watch party day template. We'll go create. And then we'll edit that scene. So now, whoops, going to close the properties window, go to visibility, get rid of audio volumes, and we'll get rid of lights as well. So we're not looking at too much information. And we've got this kind of art gallery thing going on. So I'm going to take this room, go properties, and I'm going to change it from a 1 to a 2 on the scale, so it's twice as big. And you can see that will kind of move everything in the wrong place. That's okay. I'm not worried about that. Let's make this room with stuff we can just throw around with really high bounce. So how can we have some fun with that? Cool. So this patio is not something, this patio table is not something we can pick up and throw. We can see there's no static dynamic options here. So right click, add, volume. It's creating a box. We're going to turn it into dynamic. And we're going to increase the bounce. We're going to go to visibility of physics shapes, and we can see that the box is about the right shape and size for that object. Great. Go physics shapes off, close visibility. Select this one, add volume, make it dynamic. Select this one, right click it, in scene objects, and add volume, and make it dynamic, and increase the bounce, because the bounce is fun. Boom. Let's make the tree dynamic. So this does have a physical volume. It's not something you can walk into. So we can change. That was already set up with volumes. So we don't need to add volumes to that. Same with these. I can see there's the static option. So immediately just turn that into dynamic. Making everything dynamic. What do you guys want me to throw? Anyone got any suggestions? Let's see. We can do a ship. So we can't really do... Oh, yeah, gotta go from not system, but all sources. Well, that's the animated airship. We don't want that. But we can do the galleon. We can give that a volume. It's going to be kind of the wrong shape for wanting to walk on it, but, you know, we can make it a toy ship. We can make it something smaller. Same with a spaceship. We'll make that half the size. I'll make it actually as small as possible. We'll make it dynamic. We'll give it a super high bounce and low friction. Cool. What else can we throw? Let's throw TVs. Television? A television. It's dynamic. And let's make this 3 times the size. Big TV. Cool. And then we'll select this TV and we'll also right click, add audio, and then we have to go to visibility to turn audio volumes back on, and it's kind of hidden in here, but we'll flip that around, bring out the front of the TV, make it loudness, not 100, we'll make it 80, and we'll switch it to the stream. That's already set to be on the stream. Terrific. What else can we add in here? We can add the small TV. We can close the visibility, select and scene objects, add volume, dynamic, make it really bouncy. We can also give it different sounds. So this is the audio materials of it. So we can make it sound like glass. You know, make it sound like a plate. We can also make it sound like metal. Cool. What else we got? What else do we have? In my inventory here, we've got a rusty bucket, we've got a VR headset. Let's have a few VR headsets. It can be made dynamic. Terrific. We'll do Control D on that. And we'll just, whoops, put some of these around. I think it's called Alien something. Well, the Alien tank's pretty good. That's not what I meant, but we'll have that. Make it dynamic. We'll take the scale, make it 0.5. And we'll change its sound to metal. Yeah. Now I wanted the sphere thing. No? Or actually media sphere that we could pick up and throw would be pretty great. Let's check that out. Okay, that's too big. Drag that scale slider down. And it is something that has a physical volume, so we can make it dynamic. And it's not something we can grab. And we'll turn down the friction, turn up the bounce, but maybe make the density about halfway. Cool. And then we can right click it here, go add, audio, stream, and we'll make it a sphere. And we will increase the loudness of it. And this, the volume. Not the volume, the audio. That's what I wanted. There we go. Sphere radius. We're going to drag that until we can see it. Actually, about the size of the sphere. Terrific. Boom. All kinds of things. And then we'll take the, is it called, I think it's just called Room. This gallery is also available just on the Sansar Studio store. I'm going to drag this in here. Make it as small as possible. Hey, look, it's a tiny version of the room we're in. We're going to make that dynamic as well. I'm going to mess around a bit with that. And it should probably sound like wood. Cool. Close properties. We're going to go up here to Tools, Scene Settings. I know I'm going fast, I'm just going to wrap up. And, oh, maybe I should have thought about doing this sooner. HTTP. Should have copy and pasted this from before. player.twitch.tv/channel equal Sansar official. Whoops. Sansar official. And it's HTML5 and volume equals 1. Build. So now we're going to have a room where you can pick up and throw anything in it. And some of them will be emitting audio, and I've also shown you how you can add lights to things like that. Quite feels advanced, feels complicated. Don't do global illumination. That takes a very long time. Why was global illumination on? I didn't know that. But yeah, quite a lot going on here. With all the different ways you can get deep into an object and changing what it's about. But I feel like this is not a beyond your maybe it's not your first build, but it's not beyond anyone to do. So start by just taking something like the rooftop template and dragging and stuff around and making it into an artful position. Check out the Sansar store at store.sansar.com and check out what's free. You can sort by lowest, so lowest is obviously free stuff, and you can get that, and it will immediately appear in your inventory under purchased. And I don't actually know if the spawn point's still inside the room because we made the room bigger. I hope it is. Let's see. Here we go. So it's playing my Twitch stream. It's going to play the Galaxy ad. You can see that some things do not like being made dynamic objects. Wow, the lack of friction on that spaceship is having a delightful effect. Whee! Look, it floats around. And we can throw the galleon as well. And I got this giant TV with me on it. Got this tiny room. Red room. We got this sphere. Can I just run into it? Oh, the density's too high. Oh wow, it looks trippy. Me running into the sphere on the stream. Okay, it's really hard to roll because because I had the density high. We can pick up these VR headsets. Man, those are huge. That is not the size of my avatar's head. This needs to be like half the size. We can even pick up the tree and throw the tree. Although some objects do get a little bit confused when you try and pick them up because They may not have been designed as something to be picked up. But there we go. Let's throw anything. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in Discord. Next week, we'll be returning to simple scripts. I'll cover making teleporters. And I gotta. This is confusing hearing myself talk. Going to settings. Experience audio down. So next week we'll be looking at simple scripts again. I'll be showing you how to make teleporters that you can have, to let you warp around rooms, your experience, or warp to other experiences. And we'll also cover some other things. Let me know in Discord and on Twitter, Sansar Official, or the log into Sansar on the webpage and link your account to Discord. Let me know what kind of simple scripts you'd like to see next week, and I will cover that then. And then I think after that we'll do a little roundup summary. Cool. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Ta-ta for now.